This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Boobies! Hi!
Hello, and welcome to
Boobies!
Boobies. That's right. We're your hosts. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
And today we're here to talk to you about something.
Electric.
Oh, electric. Yes. And something very strange.
Yes,
Darling.
very good setup. And I really liked, I wish we could have done how, like I should have had a recording of that. I should have played that song so it could be Strange Darling.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I liked how, like, here in a minute, how before the title card, like you hear the title of the movie in a song.
Yeah.
Right after the credits. I thought that was really cool because I don't know that I've like, if I have, I don't remember seeing that in a movie before.
No, yeah. I feel like I've not really seen that done before either.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. It's directed by J.T. Molnar.
Lit.
And it's starring lots of people. Willa Fitzgerald, Kyle Gallner, who we know from Smile and also Scream.
He's in so many horror movies.
Yeah, he is. It said Giovanni Ribisi was in it, but he's actually the cinematographer. And he played Phoebe Buffay's brother in Friends.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I knew his face from somewhere, and then I was searching his filmography for a while, and then I finally saw Friends, and I was like, he's Phoebe's brother. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then we've got Ed Begley Jr., who I recognize from Pagemaster, who was the old man at the Mountain People. He played the dad in Pagemaster when he was much younger.
Oh, yeah. And he's also from Pineapple Express, I think. And I think he's in Batman. That's what I think of. I've also seen him in something else, but I can't put my name on it.
Pagemaster was the one that like really clicked for me when I was looking through.
I don't even know what's Pagemaster.
Oh my God, it's such a good movie. It's got Doc from Back to the Future in it, and it's got Patrick Stewart in it. Yeah, Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, it came out the year we were born.
Yeah, and it's like this half animated, half live action film where he like goes into these classic story tells like Moby Dick and Jekyll and Hyde and Arabian Nights and stuff. He goes into the classic stories and he adventures like it's like what a child does when they read books. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a good movie.
That's cool. Yeah, let's check it out. It's 94. And then Barbara Hershey, who we recognize from obviously The Conjuring. And I mean, she's been in several other like horror films.
Who is she in The Conjuring?
She's the mom of Josh. She's Josh's mom.
In which Conjuring?
Oh, I'm sorry, not The Conjuring. Insidious.
Insidious. Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's fine. My bad.
I was like, I thought The Conjuring was all based around girls for the most part, but Insidious. Okay.
Yeah, she is Josh's mom.
I did recognize her. But yeah, so pretty star-studded cast. The only person I hadn't heard of is Willa Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I didn't.
And she did a phenomenal job.
I don't recognize her from anything else. It says she was in The Fall of the House of Usher, though.
Oh, interesting.
Not I really don't remember she played. But oh, you know what? Now that I see her, like what's just
Not
like
all crazy eyed.
yeah, okay, she was in Scream. I know who she is. She was
Well,
in Scream, the TV show. That was like a little short run thing a few years ago. Um yeah, that's crazy. Okay, I did not recognize her at all. She
and then,
really
yeah, someone told us to watch this film. I feel like it was Jeff,
maybe through
but it
like a
might have
DM
been
at some
Emma.
point.
I sent him a DM like being like, "Hey, did you tell us to watch Strange Darling?" Because the moment that I started watching it and realized that the chapters were coming out of order, I was
Yeah.
like, "Someone's told me to watch this before."
For that
And
reason.
yeah, because they were like, "Oh, I know that you like chapters and stuff." And this one, it's like they come all out of order. And I was like, "Oh." And so the moment we started watching this, I was like, "I've heard of this film."
Yeah.
But I cannot for the life of me remember who it was that told us to watch it. And so
Thank
if
you.
you're listening and you told us to watch Strange Darling, please let us know because I have the memory of a goldfish and cannot be trusted with information ever.
But nonetheless, solid recommendation because it was a really interesting film. And like you said, it was told kind of through a non-linear structure. But it was just it was pretty cool because even though it was told in the way like of what it opened with chapter 3, I believe, and then it was like 5, 1, 4, 2, and 6.
Yeah, something like that.
But it still was like at the end of it when you get to it, like it still made complete sense without it being like too jarring.
Yeah. And the way that it delivered, like it gave us a twist.
It did, yeah. And even kind of through it as well, like there are certain like little bits where you're kind of picking up like there's kind of hinting towards the twist.
Yeah.
But it did it in such subtle ways that even when you do get to the moment and you're kind of like, because by the time it got to the twist, like I was already thinking like, but I was also like still pleasantly like when it got there, even though I still had the hunch of it, and we still felt it coming.
Yeah, because there's some moments in my notes where I was like, "Girl, you're the crazy one," like,
yeah,
because I was like, "What are you doing?" And then, but then they did such a good job of really leaning into the narrative that it was the man who was sorry to spoil it,
yeah,
the man who was the serial killer, and then for it to just completely be flipped on its head.
Yeah, which we've seen kind of done before in some instances, but this was done, I think, because also adding that non-linear storytelling, it added to even more of like kind of making us as the audience very it added to us and our kind of illusion of it being him, right? Because it being played out of order, and with him, us getting shown him kind of being after her at the beginning, it really sets it up as him being the bad guy when in reality she is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we get this film shot entirely on 35 millimeter film, which was really cool.
They really wanted us to know that.
Yeah, it was the first thing on the screen. And we start in like black and white. And we get this like montage of these words, which I did not write down because these were too many words.
Oh yeah, it was a lot.
It was like Star Wars, like at the beginning. There was actually another moment where she's running through the woods, and I was like, this looks like Star Wars, like whenever they're on like Luke and Leia and stuff, and they're on those white bikes that zip through the forest with like the Ewoks and stuff. Yeah, it was. I was like, I was expecting Luke and Leia to pop out of nowhere and be just like, zoom.
Yeah. We have that opening the film. as that's going by. And then we have our opening shot of the demon, who's played by Kyle. And she has, it's like a blue, image over him, not a blue image, a blue hue, blue light. And we get the question asked, are you a serial killer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it transitions to very abruptly, and then like the music also the music this whole movie was so good.
Yeah, it was. I wrote I think 3 times. I was like, damn, this shit's good.
Very good music song choices, but then also especially at this point, whenever it switches to right after him being asked by a serial killer, it's like that very jarring, violins and noise.
Yeah.
And he's strangling, and you can tell that he's strangling someone. Also, he's so strong.
I know. Yeah, his arms. I was like,
damn.
I was like, me next. No, I'm just kidding.
but then it also just shows you but that's also really scary, because it's as human beings, the power that people hold just even in their own someone could literally just overpower me, and I couldn't even do anything because they're just stronger than me.
Yeah. No, it is something I think about daily.
You're just you see Caitlin, she's just doing zigzags all day.
Zigzag. Gotta avoid the shooter. What's that? They do it in Madagascar, right?
Oh, yeah.
The zigzag formation. He's like, you gotta zigzag.
Zigzag. And then so we get that, and then it goes to all of those words and whatever it means. That was whenever it happens, right? So all of those words
basically it's saying from 2018 to 2020, a serial killer went on a rampage, and this was the last bit of her, or the last bit of the killer's rampage.
Yeah,
basically this was the end of it,
and they're taking that and making a narrative to it, essentially. And so take with that one too, will. Well, spoiler alert, it's not based on a real story. Might as well just say that, because you looked it up, right?
Yeah, from what I gathered, it's not. It says what serial killer? Okay, yeah. Strange Darling is not directly based on any specific real-life serial killer, though the film's director, J.T. Mulner, has hinted at potential real-life inspirations. The movie presents itself as a dramatization of the final known killings of a fictional, most prolific and unique American serial killer in the 21st century.
Okay, got it. It's a real story. They really got away with that. Actually, that kind of neat. They're basically saying this is a real, true story about a fictional character.
Yeah.
That's funny. Actually, that makes sense. That works. Okay, works for me now. Anyway.
It's kind of like when, I don't know, it reminds me of when freaking in the Blair Witch Project, they had all the people.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
To build the world of it, making it seem real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we have that little thing, and then we switch to a girl running, who we then later figure out is the lady.
Just the lady right now.
Yeah, because on the screen it flashes Willa Fitzgerald as the lady, Kyle Gallner as the demon.
It's 1920, old school Hollywood movies.
Yeah. Right, showing who is who and stuff. It was cool. It was very old school.
And I wonder if that also was a choice because of the 35 millimeter shooting on film, or because I wonder why even they wanted to shoot on film. It looked beautiful.
It was. The colors were so vivid.
Yeah.
Once we switched to the black and white, or from the black and white.
Even them entered on that by the Blue Angel Motel or whatever.
Yeah,
was such
under that blue light with the black and the shadows creeping in.
But I just wonder, like, what informed what first? Like, if it was like because of that or that, or if like just from the get, like he would the person was just like, well, I just want this like kind of infusion of like that vibe in it, because it also like subtly nods to like old school filming in other ways too. I thought, I guess, kind of almost in like the way it's cut up and even the way the chapters are kind of presented, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's running, and we got all those credits going up, and then we have after those credits go, we have like a car on the road, a red Pinto, and then we have the music cue, and it's singing "Strange Darling," and we have our two characters essentially, which are the lady and the demon, and the demon is after the lady right now, and she looks very much in distress, and it's setting up like the story to make it seem like she's running away from him, like she needs to get away from him. He's the bad guy.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not doing him any favors, especially because, well, first off, both of them are driving down like the center of the road, and I was like,
very dangerously, recklessly. Yeah.
I was like, what if another car comes? But then they like flash to him driving, and he's sitting there doing coke while driving, so that's not making him look any better. But we figure out later why he has to do the coke.
Yeah.
It's not because he wants to.
It's so crazy. Yeah, that he literally, and one, it's a good enough reason to have to do the coke, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as they're kind of panning between both of these cars, going do, we have it switch to the title card, and it's Give Strange Darling, and then that's when it says that it's a thriller told in 6 chapters or 6 parts.
Yeah, 6 chapters.
6 chapters.
And then we flash to chapter 3. Can you help me, please?
Yeah.
And basically he's doing the coke while chasing the lady down the road. He slams on his brakes, and then he gets out of his car, gets onto the back of the car, and takes a rifle or a shotgun. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a shotgun. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly. I don't know the difference.
They look similar, I guess, but I think it was a shotgun. And he shoots at her car, making her crash, basically, because she freaks out at the high speed, and it like shatters her window and it freaks her out, so she crashes.
I don't know anything about that. Would a shotgun go that far?
I don't know. I thought shotguns went like this.
And we're more close range. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it was a rifle. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's some type of gun.
It's the boom boom stick.
Boom stick.
Yeah. And then we have her car, because she gets shot at, flipping over because she loses essentially control of the vehicle. And after she does that and it flips over and it kind of miraculously lands on its all 4 wheels, he's kind of there waiting, for her to, get up or not. And she ends up getting up. And as she gets out of the vehicle, she goes to the middle of the road, and then he's just revving it. He's going at her, and she's basically playing chicken with him. Because as soon as he gets close to her, she jumps out of the way. He has to hit his brakes, and he was going like 100. So, it takes him a while, and he kind of skids. Yeah. And then instead of going the way that she wants to go, she ends up running the opposite direction. And he gets out of the truck, and he's a really fast runner. He chases her with the gun, and then now she's running through the woods, and
through the forest. It looks like Star Wars.
Very much so.
With all the ferns and the greenery and the moss, like everywhere. I wonder
where it was going. And then she is running through this area, and as soon as she does, or as she's doing that, she ends up finding like some sort of encampment that someone's left.
Yeah, a little hideout.
And it has a bottle of vodka and some smokes. And so she she got the smokes from there, right? Or she already had them.
Yeah, I think she found them there. Right. And she picks it up, and we can see that she's bleeding from her head now. And so, like, I assume this happened in the accident
Nobody. Same.
because I didn't see it before. But yeah, and she like ripped something off of her head, but I'm not sure what it was. And then she just starts drinking this random vodka that she found in the woods. And I was like, she takes a swig of it. And I was like, girl, what? That could be anything.
Most certainly. And you don't know how long it's been there, and just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
there's so many unknowable factors and stuff that it's just like, I wouldn't try that. But then she does what makes sense. Maybe she was testing it before she poured it onto her wound. But she pours the liquor onto her ear and like is biting her shirt so not to scream. Because that's got to be so sensitive.
It's gotta hurt like a bitch.
Yeah.
Like an MF. Just because even just putting like a little bit of rubbing alcohol on like a paper cut or something small, it hurts so bad. So like, I
Yeah.
can imagine an open like wound, gaping, and that close to like all the nerves in your head. Mm.
Exactly. Yeah, that must have sucked. But then she lights one up and it's not the smartest idea.
I thought the same thing because I thought she was gonna get like, I thought she was honestly gonna kill herself. I thought she was like, this is how I go, in flames.
Yeah. Yeah, because she had just poured that alcohol all over herself and then lights up a cigarette. And I was like, yeah, girl, you're gonna combust. And then also all that smoke is gonna give you away.
But all of that. And then also, I was looking, it was filmed in Portland, Oregon, by the way.
Oh, that makes sense.
Also, by the way, reading in this too, they stopped production on this 2 days in and told them to recast Willa Fitzgerald because they didn't like anything like that they were getting, the like execs or whatever.
From Willa?
Yeah, from Willa.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, but like I guess the director and like that dude that you're talking about, Giovanni Ribisi, like they like were like they fought for her to like stay. And well, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff here. Actually, interesting. Yeah. I guess they weren't seeing the
Vision.
the vision. Yeah.
Interesting.
Whoa, that's interesting. No, there's like some sorry that I didn't like in the back. Tiffany Haddish, like even is in this mix somehow. Who's a friend of Owner, an acquaintance of Owner. He viewed an early cut of this version, basically greenlit the version that we got because they were trying to change it and was like, no, keep what you got, I guess.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay,
I thought you were trying to say they were going to cast Tiffany Haddish, and I was like, I can't.
Can you imagine? That'd be a totally like different narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of info. But so yeah, Steve, that smokes. I thought he definitely was going to see the smoke, but that didn't really play out into anything because she takes off, and when he comes up and finally does see where like her vodka bottle was and everything, like she's already been gone a minute. And we see that she is running like through at this point an open field. She's out of the woods or forest, and
Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Sorry.
And then she sees property fence, and so she runs towards that. And jumps over it hella fast. I was like, damn, there ain't no barbed wire on that. And then
I know, yeah. I was like, she's climbing that a little hastily. I was like, I can't tell if there's barbed wire or not, but there wasn't.
There wasn't. But she gets over it, and then she ends up like finding this property of these doomsdayers, because they call themselves this a little bit later.
Doomsday preppers, and
but it's what you would see. It looks like a kind of what are those, like an encampment?
Yeah,
like
it reminded me of in The Last of Us, like Nick Offerman's house.
His house. Yeah, very much that. Very much they're holed up, and they have like this radio outside playing, and it's just kind of it's like talk radio. And then she runs up to the house door. She's beating on it, and then she's like, "Let me in!" And these two people, lovely couple, open the door with like mace and everything, or bear
spray.
Bear spray, And then it cuts to a different chapter, chapter 5.
Chapter 5. Here, kitty kitty.
And we are with the demon.
We also did when she jumped over that fence, we got an intense like stop in the music because it was like very like orchestral and intense.
Yeah.
And then she jumped over the fence, and when she landed, the music like went silent, and then you could hear the talk radio happening. And I thought that was a really cool use of sound.
Yeah. To really like lead us into the next, basically, it's like the pre-chorus before the chorus.
Yeah, it kind of shocks your senses a little bit too, going from it being so loud to just like silence and then hearing something in the background. I thought it was cool. But yeah, now we're at chapter 5. Here, kitty kitty. And I was like, damn, he showed up at the house. I was like, he found her. And then later on you're like
rooting for him.
Yeah. And later on, I'm like, yes, he found her. But he's going through the house, and guess what? They have something on the wall that I own.
Oh, really? What was it?
This Mexican feather art.
Oh, really? You have the exact same line?
It was pretty similar. I don't know if it's the exact same one, but I have multiples of these. I've got I have, I think, 3 Mexican feather arts now.
Yeah.
That's cute. But yeah, they're from Mexico, and this was hanging on the wall, and so I was like, I'm gonna get that.
What part was it? Whenever he's walking through the house at this part.
Yeah, he's walking through the house, and he's like passing the staircase.
Okay.
And it's on the wall there.
On that one, or
yeah, like on the right side wall across from the staircase.
Okay, got it. I'm gonna rewind it. I'm gonna try to spot it. But
I was like, hey, I have that.
That's really cool. He's walking through the house, and he is saying like, here, kitty kitty, and he's kind of doing the whole like, to like draw her out. And it's kind of making it also seem like, damn, like he's really like, he's predator, like he's treating her like the game, like prey.
Yeah.
And so once again, not making it look too good for him. And we see her with the lighter, and we don't know where she is, but we can tell that she's in clothes somewhere, and it's dark. She just got this lighter, so you can only see her face, and she just looks really distraught. And
I thought it was a cooler, like because of the silver. Yeah. But then whenever he shoots this first chest, I was like, God damn it, he got her. And then he opens it, and it's just blankets, and I was like,
And then he ends up shooting a second chest after that because he thinks that she's in the chest. And thankfully, she didn't end up being, though. She was not. And so he's like getting a bit frustrated. He walks back downstairs. And at this point, I was like, man, this guy's wasting bullets. But he ends up going back down, and we see that there's an old man that entered the door earlier. He is dead in the middle of the floor. So at this point, we think that, he killed him.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he killed the husband.
Yeah. And I was also thinking, like, where's the wife? Where is she at? And then that's whenever we go outside, and he sees that there's like turkey and like cold beefs and meats like just thrown out on the yard. So then he like puts 2 and 2 together. So he goes back inside, and he sees the freezer, the meat freezer. And he's like, huh. And then he ends up shooting through the freezer. And she was in there now, and he does shoot through it. And when he opens it up, she's screaming. And then we cut to chapter 1.
Yeah, with him punching her, knocking her out. But then then we're at chapter 1, Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Mr. Snuffleupagus. And we have the Blue Angel Motel. It's a really pretty motel sign that produces really pretty blue light. And
he's there with a girl, which I didn't immediately recognize as her because her hair was a different color.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it showing us some other kill that he had, like that led to this or something? And so I just like, I didn't immediately put two and two together that they were the same person.
Yeah. Well, I think she was also kind of she obviously didn't look as rough as we've been
Yeah.
seeing her, and she had different hair, and she was presenting more different, like than what we've been seeing. Like she
Yeah.
had an actual personality, not just like ah! and
Yeah,
not me.
not running and screaming.
Yeah, and so she is talking to him. They're having a little hangout moment. I'm assuming that they just kind of met. They're hanging out for the first time, and she he like is like, do you want to go inside and get a room? And she's basically like, can't we just like make out for a little bit and hang out essentially? Which already from the get-go, I was like, like, all right, like he's gonna get mad because she's not gonna put out, and this is how it all starts. Like,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah. And then he like hands her drinks, and I was like, he's getting her drunk. So
Yeah,
they can do it. And like then he's gonna take advantage of her while she's inebriated, is
because
what
at
I
this
was
point-
thinking.
at this point too, while we see the drinks and everything in the back, they make it a point to show us that he has the gun, the shotgun that we see later. And then he
Shotgun
does
under
seat.
yeah. And then later on, I don't know exactly when it is, but he reaches for the gun on his ankle too.
Yeah. So we know that he's strapped. But at this point, we don't know why he's strapped. And he does have a very good reason for, I guess, being strapped. I mean, I guess that's a reason. But
Yeah.
she ends up they're just shooting the shit. And then she asks him very seriously, like, because the music cuts out and everything, and she's just like, are you a serial killer? And he's like, no, I'm not a serial killer, like obviously not. And then it
And at this point, I was like, he looked left too many times. That means he's lying. And like, I was like playing like, I was like, he's a liar. And at one point, she even asked him, she was like, she said, like, us women have to be careful about going out and stuff. Like, we want just casual sex, but it could turn into us getting killed. And he was like, oh, I haven't thought about it that way. And I was like, yes, sir, you have. You're planning on killing her.
he's
I was
doing
so
it
mad
right
at
now.
him. I was like, I was so ready to take her side, just like the female cop later.
Yeah, I mean, well, 9 times out of 10, right?
Yeah.
But also, she's well, because we have that whole moment, right? Of she's like asking him if he's a serial killer or not. But then it cuts to her. What does she say to him exactly? She's just like, I want to make you do like I will. You just don't know what I want to make you do to me yet, or something like that. Because then it cuts to him strangling her. And
Yeah.
we think that, like, oh God, this is it. He's trying to kill her. But it
Yeah.
turns out she wants him to do that because she's
Yeah. She's saying harder, harder.
Mhm.
And then she goes, stop. And then she's like, this isn't working. I was like, damn, he was putting his back into it. Like,
It really was. Yeah.
like, I'm surprised she was able to speak through that and didn't have like bruises on her neck.
Well, maybe that's why, because he wasn't doing it hard enough. But she does. She says stop. She's like, this ain't working. He's like, you can tell he's just kind of like, I don't know what you want from me, like I'm just doing what you're telling me to do. And
This is where I immediately wrote down, she's kind of all over the place.
yeah.
Like, I started getting suspicious here.
I wrote down like, well, she's gonna kill her because she's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
She is. She was very much like almost like 2 different people.
Yeah, she was. Once she got into the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. And then she's taking a cigarette break, little ciggy break. But they start to make out again because like she's like, I guess it doesn't work. This isn't working because I guess I don't need you to do that. Essentially, like she doesn't need him to choke her. But so she's like presenting like at one moment like she doesn't want anything from him, but then the next moment she's like all about him. So it's just I don't
really
know.
jarring. And
Really jarring.
it's just hard to keep up with. And if I was him, I would have been like, what the fuck is going on?
not me literally saying, "Oh," I was like, "Damn, I would have killed her at this point," because she's like fucking with his mind,
Yeah.
clearly. She's
I would have
fucking with
been
his
like,
head.
Yeah, you're done for."
Yeah.
But yeah, so they start making out again, and then she throws him off, but then allows him to cuff her. And then this is where he takes a turn, and you're like, "Oh shit, now it's really happening." And he slaps her, and he's like, "I want to be called sir." And he says he's in control, and I was like, that is pretty hot, but also you're about to murder her, so
You were having conflicting feelings. Oh no.
I was
Because
like,
it is. It's really
damn.
making it seem like he's gonna kill her because she's even screaming like, "No, please, like, don't do it," and like, "You don't have
Yeah,
to."
she looked
Don't kill
genuinely
me.
terrified.
And then, he's just like denying her request. She's like, "I don't give you permission." He's like, "I don't need permission," but it gets to like a really high point that she just blurts out, "Mr. Snuffleupagus." Oh,
Mr.
also,
Snuffleupagus.
I think it's because, and even for me, I was like, whoa. He's like, "You're gonna take my whole foot." And
Oh yeah,
from the toes
to the heel.
to the heel. And I was like, God damn. And she was just like, no.
Yeah,
As
no,
soon as
that
he
part
said
was
that.
not. I was like, ew.
Yeah. I was like, that's too much. That's too much.
Yeah. Now,
That's
if he
like,
would have said, "You're gonna take my cock from the head to all the way down it," I would have been like,
yeah. But
"Tell me
that was just-
more."
but the butt took me out because even the way he delivered it was so like I believed him.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
was
was
like,
like, I
"Oh
thought we were
damn."
about to see the foot go into the mouth, and then thankfully she's like, "Mr. Snuffleupagus" or whatever,
And
so
his demeanor immediately changes.
and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so
And
sorry. Like, are you okay?" And she's like, "Get these off of me." And he's taking her out of the cuffs,
yeah,
and
and at some point I wrote like, "Girl, you literally told him to do that." But
oh, because
I
she's like, because she said in these words specifically, like, "Why would you say those disturbing words to me?"
yeah,
Yeah. And then
but I
he's
don't think we've gotten where she's told him that she wanted all of the kinky stuff yet. Have
no,
we?
no,
Because yeah,
no,
we
no,
don't know, because we didn't know that there, because yeah, later on she's like, but yeah,
no, because she's like doing that, but then that's when it cuts to them in the car, like immediately, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
My next note is chapter 4, the mountain people.
right before that, it happened. It's like 3 minutes. It's not that long, but right before that, it cuts to them in the car, and that's whenever she's talking to him, and she's like,
Oh,
"No,
and tells him all that.
I need you to be like, I need you to be for real about it, because if I don't believe you, it's not going to turn me on. Like, even if I'm like telling you no and this and that, like, no means yes, and the only word in the human dictionary that does mean no is Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Miss Snuffleupagus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then that's when it cuts back to them in the bedroom, and they're in the bed, and then there's this little quick moment where they're just looking at each other, and she like does this like a thing. I tried it like 10 different times. I tried to slow it down.
deposit and
I couldn't catch it.
see. Oh,
It's like that fast. I couldn't catch
like
it. But
subliminal
something
messaging.
flashes on the screen, and then her whole demeanor just changes. And
Yeah.
then she's just like, and then he's like, "Whoa." And at that point, I was like, "Oh, she's the one with the demons inside her." Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, yes, now we're on chapter 4, and we're with the mountain people.
Yes. And they're just laughing with each other, sitting across from each other, just having a grand old time. It was kind of
honestly
awkward,
the most-
really.
this-
I was
well, this
like,
was- yeah, well, yeah, because they were a bit weird.
they were just like,
right? Yeah. But this was honestly the most heartbreaking part of the whole entire movie. and story,
Oh, I
because-
know. Yeah.
Right? Because these guys like just seem like they're just happily, like madly in love.
They're
like,
just
in their own
enjoying
little
their
bubble.
Sunday morning, and
Like they just plan to live out the rest of their 10 years of life out here, and and ready for anything, right? Doomsday.
Yeah.
And then this shit happened.
But not ready for this because they're just sitting there laughing with each other. Then we cook to the husband cooking breakfast. He cooks a whole fucking stick of butter. And I was like, damn, what he need all that stick of butter for?
The most obscene breakfast I've ever seen in my entire
I know.
life.
I was like, okay, Buddy the Elf. Like, because they like put the eggs and then there's like more butter and then like this canned jam, like preserved.
The whole can.
The whole
Why was
can
the
of it.
can necessary?
And then like syrup and whipped cream. And I was like, I was literally waiting for him to put the spaghetti on.
You
and
guys,
it'd be Buddy the Elf.
when he was bringing the plates to the table, and it's literally like a soup of syrup.
Sloshing.
Yeah.
I was like,
Mm.
ugh, this is nasty.
That would
And
make
at
me
this point, they deserve to die. No, I'm just kidding.
eat, like shit for 5 days. Like that much
Oh
sugar.
my
and
God.
sweet.
That I would take one bite and immediately shit my pants.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to.
It would have been just like in and then immediately out.
And torturously as well. But like they're enjoying this nice, beautiful day and breakfast, and we cut back. Did you hear that?
No.
Okay, good. That's good. Then there's Millie. But she's just being Millie, and then
She's just
we-
being Millie. The next time we hang out,
hang out,
I will
I
ready
just
myself.
my heart can rest. Yeah, that.
Ooh, oh, oh, I
can't wait
can't wait to
to
see
see
you
you
again.
again. And so this is where we cut to back with the lady, and she's banging on the door, but now it's their perspective, and they're like, "That's a crazy lady," and then he's like, "Grab the bear spray," and so,
Yeah. And I was like, still at this point, I was like, no, it's gonna be fine. Like, she's not crazy, she's on the run. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, she is a little crazy herself, but like, I wasn't expecting her to be the killer.
she's not all there, but
No.
we weren't, yeah. And so they let her in. They're trying to, talk her down. She's playing up the bit very well, like someone who's being chased. And she's saying that the man's after her. He's got a gun. Do y'all have a gun? They explain that they're just mountain people. They kind
She's
of
like, I thought all mountain people had guns. And they were
Yeah.
like, we're just 2 old hippies.
and they believe in Sasquatch and all these, they're in their own little world right now. And she, the lady, he's like, do you need something stronger than aspirin? Go get the Percocet. And
Yeah.
so
Get the
the
perks.
mom, the lady's going to go, not the lady, but, the older woman is going to get, her name was Genevieve. Genevieve is going to get the Percocet. And while she's over there with that, because she also tells her husband to call the cops, he's about to. But then there's a little bit of kerfuffle because we hear something happening downstairs. And right before that, we had the lady being like, no, please, do me a favor, do not call the cops.
Yeah.
And so when we come downstairs, Genevieve is surprised because her husband is on his knees and he's just all banged up because he got beat up with the phone and he's got a knife in him and he's just saying Percocet, Percocet, and then he falls to the floor. So that's really important.
Percocet. Oh, sorry, now I'm just singing
And then
that one song. I don't know. Andrew plays it a lot.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He just says Percocet.
It's Future, I think.
Percocet. Yeah, I think it is Future.
And we have her just being like, oh dear. And the lady's like, look, I don't want to fuck up your day any more than I have to. So if you could just like show me or tell me where I can tie you up, but it's got to be fast, something that can be fast, I can make you comfortable, and we'll just leave it at that. And so the Genevieve's like, you can take me to the storm cellar, and there are chains that you can put on the door, and you can lock me up down there. And so
because she explains we were kind of doomsday preppers, and then I was like, makes sense with their house, like because it did look like it was incredibly well supplied, and like with all the greenery and stuff.
their location, it seems like they probably like were out.
Yeah, they wouldn't have any issues with zombies and shit. But it'd be like, what's his name in The Walking Dead? Herschel. with the
Or
old
one
White
with the
House.
flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In like season 2, where it all takes place on the farm in his house. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I kind of watched that show, but not a lot.
Oh,
But
I watched
know,
it until
like,
Glenn died. Because when Stephen Yeun's character dies, I was like, I'm done.
Oh yeah.
Mandy, you taking a bath?
Yeah.
She's like, don't look at me.
Literally,
Okay, I'm gonna
she
lick my
looked right
butthole
at
now.
the camera.
She was like, y'all watching?
Hey you guys,
Um,
I got a charge for this. This is going on the page, but this is going behind the paywall. It's going on the Patreon.
Patreon for Millie's butthole licking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made sense with their house. And then we see her throwing out all the meats and stuff in the deep freeze. Once she's taken her out to the backyard and then she hears him. And so then Genevieve runs away and
Yeah.
just dips. She takes her out and she like uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then the lady goes back trying to find a place to hide. And she realizes, like, I can throw out all this stuff in the deep freeze. And I was like, girl, you don't think that would give it away? Like, immediately?
Literally what I thought, too.
And
which it did.
It did, yeah.
And also, why would she put it just out, like, leave it, put it right there where you are, and put it, like, there was probably a throw over the couch. You know?
Yeah, that you could just cover it up and stuff. Yeah, it didn't make much sense. But she was on cocaine, we find out later.
And it had to be fast. She was rushing.
Yeah.
And was at this point shot and a lot of other things. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's throwing all the meats out and stuff in the deep freeze, gets in the deep freezer, and then we see he is approaching the house. And then we flash to chapter 2. Do you like to party? That just makes me think of Hot Rod when he's like, hi, I'm Rod, and I like to party.
Still haven't seen it.
Oh, this is my favorite movie.
I'll watch it one day and I'll think of you the entire time.
Come over and watch it, except for you probably want to watch it with me because I can quote like every line. And so it would
be doing that all the time.
Yeah, it would be me like being like, hi, I'm Rod. I like to party. And he's like, hi. Yeah.
No,
and they just go through it.
That's how I am with a few different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Andrew likes watching it likes watching Hot Rod, but I don't think he likes watching it with me because every time he's like, how do you know all the words? And I'm like, it's literally,
easy.
I've watched this movie so many times.
But yeah, also if you like something, you like something. It makes it easier to remember.
Yeah.
We're at You Like to Party. And so we're back in the hotel room and they're still having their little kinky foreplay time. And she's like, do you like the party? She asked him the question. They're kind of having pillow talk, essentially. And then she's like, I want to do some cocaine. And she's like, come on, it's my birthday. And I'm like, at this point, when she said it's her birthday, I knew something was wrong because who in the hell is out here doing this shit on their birthday and don't have no family, no friends, nobody? Like, that's how you know.
Track of them and stuff. Yeah.
Or just like, if it's your birthday, you're not going to be with some rando, like doing coke and having kiki time. You're going to be like, if you're a normal.
You might.
Well,
if that's your idea of a good time.
But I feel like.
I've gone home with some strangers on my birthday.
No. But here's the thing, though. What were you doing before that?
Hanging out with friends, yeah.
Yeah, this game, they were not just like hanging out with friends before. This game, like, they found each other on like Craigslist. But
yeah, I thought they just picked her up in a bar, is what I was gathering. But yeah, and then also, like, what friend is just casually gifting that much coke for your birthday? Because it seems like kind of a good amount of coke. I don't know much about coke. I've obviously never done it, but I've only snorted Lucas salts and sodas and beer. I snorted a beer before. If you're curious, go listen to episode 1 of my old podcast, What's Your Excuse? I snort beer on the podcast.
Oh, God. Well, there's, you got to try everything once, don't you?
Yep.
But
I was unmedicated during those times, so I did a lot of crazy shit.
how does that feel?
To
Or
snort beer. Oh, it fucking burned because it like it kind of bubbles a bit, but it like it's sour. It like
I don't think
burns.
putting anything feels good up your nose.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But she does well. She's got the coke, and he's like, I haven't done that in a while, but he's down because you know what? She's like, come on, it makes me super horny, and
Yeah.
so
And
this
he
poor
goes,
dude, this
well,
whole
I
guy-
can't lay the lady down on her birthday now, can I? And his
Yeah.
delivery of that made me be like, ugh, he is a serial killer. Even though I've already seen her kill someone else, I
yeah,
still was like, no.
because she ends up. Oh yeah, she gets off the bed and she like puts her back towards him, and already immediately, and even he's got like that weird face on his face. He's like, she's doing something weird, but it's okay
Yeah.
because I
And then
like
you
it.
see this change in her eyes.
Yeah, because which it keeps happening, and so also I'm just like, are they like trying to make a comment? Does this person have like the ID or something? Or is there something
Yeah.
happening? Is she shifting between personalities? Because it was very like that, like she would be altered. But she's cutting up putting the cocaine on a little tray so they can sniff it. But what she's doing is like mixing something else into it, which we find out later is ketamine.
Yeah.
And she ends up putting that for him to snort, which he does.
Yep. And they I wrote again that I like the music in this film. But they start making out, and then I wrote, damn, she's the crazy one. Like she did something that she got off of him, and then she's like starts putting on her boots.
Yeah.
And
she's just like done.
Like if you can, yeah, because like they were like making out and stuff, and then she was like, bye, and pushes him, and then starts putting on her boots, and I was like, what the fuck? Because you can even see in his eyes, he's like, what the fuck? Like, are we not? He was like, I thought you said this made you horny. And she's like, well, maybe I lied. And then he's like, yeah, it seems like it because you're fucking turning into like a different person.
Yeah. He's like, are we even going to? And she's such a like, at this point, I would
have slapped her.
Because like she's obviously like, it's not even like that. It's like he's being douchey at this point to be like, are we even gonna fight? Because she's been leading him on and off all night, and then he's just trying to be like, are we even gonna fight? And before he can even get the sentence out, she's mocking him.
Are we gonna fuck?
She's like, I can't believe you would even ask that. Like, it's so like
and he's like, just the tip.
Yeah, I'm sure at this point, I feel bad for him because he hasn't even slept all night. Like the whole so he's just like, damn, and she's just like, if you can keep it up, or if you can even get it up in the next 5 minutes, yeah, we can fuck.
Yeah,
and
so
I
was like, what does that mean? But I immediately just thought coke dick.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's probably what she's talking about. I was not expecting like
ketamine dick.
Ketamine, yeah, and him like foaming at the mouth.
Yeah. Because she goes to the restroom. Because she's even like, you're gonna give me a ride up, whatever. He's like, yeah, fuck that. Like, you can buy, like, do your own shit. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So she goes to the restroom, and then she pulls out a knife. She pulls out a taser. And then you're like, oh shit. And I'm like, wait, what is she doing? And then she comes out of the restroom and I'm like, oh, he left. And then she walks out the door and he's on the fucking floor, just like foaming at the mouth, just, can't move. And she drags him into the room and drops her knife, picks up her knife, and then she's got him on the bed. And he's just like, you gave me cocaine, right? Like, but not like that. And she's like, actually, haha, and pulls out that little bottle and she's like, this is ketamine.
Yeah.
So
He
I
was like,
know.
cocaine, cocaine. And she was like,
And
nope, sorry.
it's crazy because she's just so nonchalant, like, about it too. She's just like, you know, "No, I just drugged ya." And then at this point, I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, well, that makes sense because, I mean, she already killed old guy from earlier, so Ed." So I was like, "Well, she's the killer," but she's still just kinda, like, fucking with him at this point because she just cuts him up for, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah, she's toying with him and she's like telling him like I just want to have a good time. And then we get the same song from the beginning, the Love Hurts song that we got during the chase. And then she starts gagging him with his own sock and then she starts carving into him cuz we can't like tell that she's carving into him. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't see it explicitly, but like she mounts him and then
she
like
has a knife.
she has the knife and then you see her kind of start going to town and you hear him like grunting and then we get 1 minute 2 minutes 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and then she's in the bathroom. We flash to her in the bathroom cleaning up,
Yeah, and she's got his wallet. Oh, and she also took her wig off at this point,
pulls her
and
wig off, throws it in trash. And this
she
is where I was like, this whole time this motherfucker was just getting revenge and I was mad. I was mad
Hey.
for him.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
because he was just getting revenge the whole time. And so I was like, what? What?
Yeah, good little twist.
Yeah.
And also, another little twist here is that she's going through his wallet, and she finds out that he's a fucking cop.
He's a sheriff. I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy.
What is that? Is that a country song?
It's a song. I know that there's a version of it that's like reggae too.
Oh, okay. And then,
But I
but
think it originally is country. I don't actually know the origins of that song. I'm gonna shut up.
very good. She ends up going back out after finding out that he's a sheriff, and she's like looking at him. You get a view of like what she did to him, and she was it EL? Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
for Electric Lady.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So she carved EL into him, and then
And she's like poking at it, like digging her little claws into it. And I was like, "Bleh."
it was. I felt bad for him, and
Yeah.
I said, at that point also though, I didn't because I don't know the science between the drug ketamine. I don't know if like for his sake if it's good or bad. Like, is he so drugged out that he's not felt that, or is he so drugged out that he like over felt it? Like,
Oh yeah, and like could feel every sensation. Ugh. I hope
yeah.
for his sake that it was the first.
If it puts people like, I feel like ketamine's a tranquilizer, right? So I feel like hopefully it was helping him in pain. I don't know,
Yeah.
but because she's like fucking with him, and just putting her fingers all up in
Because
it.
maybe I feel like part of her didn't want to kill.
You think that she really meant like what she meant later on?
Yeah, like I feel like there's a part of her that like didn't want to do it to people, and so maybe she drugged all of her victims so they wouldn't feel as much pain when she killed them. But like then there was something in her that was like, you got to kill these demons. And
Overriding, yeah.
yeah, and so like
The
I
subconscious try to make it as humane as possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm wondering if that was the case. Like, but then she also does just go on just killing people willy-nilly. So
Yeah,
but
and she has this
so
whole
they
thing
were
where
all kind of unplanned in this last spree of people.
honestly, I kind of felt, I kind of like, you know, when you're like saying, whenever like all of her plans would get fucked up and like someone would get in her way, she's just like, ah! I'm like, same, like every
Yeah.
other day. Did you see Millie? She was like, well,
She was like, what the fuck?
yeah. But
But she went
ends
right
up-
back to being so chill.
Oh, she loves being chill. She is a chill mama. She'll get up and I'll think that she's about to do something, but she's just adjusting to get more comfy.
Just get more comfy.
And she is like talking to him, and she's just like, I've never put it there before. So I'm assuming like over the heart, maybe she did feel something for him. And she ends up pulling a gun out No. Sorry, a knife, and she tells him like now sleep.
No
And
sleep. Yeah.
but as she's doing that, he pulls a gun out on her and shoots her on the head. But he's obviously still drugged out on the ketamine, so I'm assuming that's why he couldn't like really aim well. And so
Yeah.
it just like shoots her ear off essentially.
Grazes her ear, and then I was like, oh shit, she was bleeding because he shot her. I thought it was because of the accident, and I was like, oh fuck.
Somebody later.
Yeah, and then she like runs out, and because the guy next door comes out and he's like, what the hell's going on? And she's like, he's got a gun.
And he's like, so do I.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm so thankful that man didn't like go in there and shoot him.
Yeah, for real.
Although that probably would have been a nicer death than what he gets. But she then runs down the like street, gets to the front office or something for this motel
Lobby.
or
Yeah.
little lobby, and she's like, can you please help me? She asks again, like playing the victim. And then
our guys doing coke in the room trying to get re-energized.
And I was like, oh, he was doing the coke to counteract the ketamine. This makes so much more sense now.
Especially the way he was like downing it earlier in the movie.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he's a junkie. Like, I mean, he's just going for it.
And a junkie, right? That's what she said.
Yeah.
I thought you said a chunky at first. I was like, what? I get it. It's like,
that would be so mean.
I was like, damn, he's a chunky. I was like, whoa.
No, he was so good looking.
No, yeah, for sure. And then,
If you're chunky, you can't be good looking, because look at me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But it's crazy because she's in the lobby, right? And she's trying to ask for help from these people. And I love how concierge lady is like, okay, we need to call the cops. And then the other lady in the room is like, I don't want to get involved. And then she just killed the concierge lady just so fast.
Stabbed her right in the neck. And I was like, oh my God, she killed that lady.
Because even the lady didn't even know she was dead. Like, she's just standing there like, and then she just drops. Mm-hmm. And then poor lady over here is in scrubs and is just like scared to death. And then she's like, look, I don't want to fuck up your day any more than I have. Like, give me your clothes, give me your keys. And so this is how we come to find out how she was in the outfit that she's in, and also how she got the vehicle that she was in.
Yeah, driving that car. Because, whenever she ran past it earlier, I was like, why'd she just run past her car? Mm-hmm. And then she, like, asked this girl for the keys. And she's like, which car is it? And she was like, the Pinto, the 78 Pinto or whatever. And she was like, what, for real? Like, damn, that's a nice car.
Maybe for back then it wasn't as like whatever, I don't know.
Well, this was taking place for 2018 to 2020.
Oh, you're right. I don't know why I was
because it feels so old school with how it's shot.
That is crazy. They took me to a different place. And so now we're at chapter 6, and it's who is Gary Gilmore?
Who's Gary Gilmore?
Yeah.
So we're on the final chapter now, because this is the last piece of the puzzle that we haven't gotten.
Yeah. And
it's not quite the final chapter, but of the 6.
Mm-hmm. We're back with the lady, electric lady, and she is stuck to the freezer. And she's awake now. But not awake, sorry.
Yeah, she's unconscious still.
But he's cuffing her to the freezer, and then he calls a friend, and he's like, I'm in trouble. And when he comes back down, she's awake.
And he, like, at first left the gun there next to the freezer, and I was like, do not leave that gun there. She's going to shoot you.
Rookie mistake, yeah.
Yeah, but then he has it on his back whenever he goes to call the friend. And I love it when he just looks her in the eyes, and he's like, gotcha, you fucking cunt.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
You feel a bit of kind of pride there. Or just kind of like the satisfaction of like him being able to kind of right what she did to him, essentially.
Yeah.
And then they start talking, and she's basically
says,
mocking him.
Yeah, because she says it looks like a checkmate. And he goes, and then some. And she's like, there is no checkmate, like then some. She's like, it's either you did or you didn't.
She's very
And
condescending.
yeah, and she's like, you fucking idiot. Or she said something, but I forget
Yeah.
what it was. It was something that I never heard of. And I was like, I don't know what kind of insult this is, but I'm going to omit it probably.
I don't remember.
But, and
Eh.
she is like taunting him. And then he's like, I'll take a little bit of trouble over a life sentence any day.
Yeah. And she tries to like flip gears almost a sense. And I honestly kind of thought that she was acting poorly, but in a on purpose way in order to show that the character was like trying to be like talk her way out of it, but I felt like she wasn't doing a really good job. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. But I feel like
No, I get
because
what you mean.
but not like on purpose. Like it was meant to be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's so like kind of twisted. You know what I mean? Because at this point, she feels like I feel like she could just say like manipulate him still, even after all that they've been through. Like she could
Yeah.
still be like, you know, don't you think that
I'm just a
you felt
sweet
something
little
for me?
girl. Oh, yeah.
Like you felt something for me, like it was different with you. Like I almost didn't want to kill you or something like that. And then he's just, pulled into his own. But at this point, I love how she's even like fucking with him so much to the point where she's like, and that song that played, like every time you hear that song, you're gonna think about me. It's our
Yeah.
song. That's our
But
song.
She starts singing Love Hurts again. And that's the song from the beginning. And then that she started singing in the hotel room. And so she's like, that's our song now. And then out of fucking nowhere, she also says, I want to be like Gary Gilmore. And he goes, who's Gary Gilmore? And she says he asked for the firing squad, like whenever it came down to time for him. Yeah. So that's where the Gary Gilmore comes into play. But yeah, she out of fucking nowhere bear sprays him. And I was like, fuck, I forgot she had the goddamn bear spray.
Yeah.
And there with her, because you see her grab it in like chapter 2, but like
Right.
that's at
Very
the
quickly.
beginning.
Yeah.
Or chapter 5, whatever the second chapter was. I believe it was 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see her grab it. And so like I forgot and I was so mad. And then she like in his panic cuz he just got fucking bear sprayed. He is like wobbling all around and she just takes
Grabs
a fucking chunk out of his neck.
Yeah.
She like and then she spits it out and it's so big. It was just like
Yeah. That's a lot of flesh. Is this possible?
I know. I was trying to think if
Like, would
if
I
I
be
was
able to do
in
that in
a
a moment?
situation, yeah, like if I would be able to do it. And I was like, this isn't like a kinky thing, but like sometimes Andrew will be like, bite me. and then I'll bite him and then he'll be like harder. and then
Oh,
and
I
I
like
just
fight. I fight.
yeah.
I was the kid that fights. I fight things.
just bite
I-
everything. Yeah.
I
But
feel like I
like
can do it.
at a certain point, like I like can't bite him any harder, but maybe because I know like I don't want to hurt him. But like if I like was going to hurt someone, maybe I could do it.
I feel like I could draw blood.
Yeah. I feel like I could draw blood. I don't know if I could take like but
A
the
chunk
neck skin
out.
is so soft.
And it's very right there. Like your vein is literally right there.
Yeah.
Like essentially. But anyways, guys, she bites him so much so that when she rips it out of him, it's an open wound enough that his vein is just bleeding out. And the poor
It's just
dude
squirting.
it just bleeds out in a matter of seconds. And it's honestly really sad for him because you really are kind of rooting for him at this point. And she just takes it out. And then once again,
And I was
she
so
just,
mad.
she just like gives out a big old scream after she, kills him and he falls down. And then she's in there, and it's kind of the nick of time because as she's getting out of it, these people show up that he called, like strangers, and they come up and she staged it to where it looked like she was like sexually assaulted because she pulled
Yeah.
down her pants and she is like crying and wailing, and then they come in and she's claiming that he hurt her.
Oh,
Um,
and she gets his gun.
and she gets
And
his gun.
before they come in, she's like dragging his corpse closer to her and gets the gun that's strapped to his ankle.
Yeah. So and she hides it underneath her leather jacket.
Yeah.
So they come in and there's a guy cop who's older and a younger female cop. And
Immediately garners the sympathy of the female. And I was like,
yeah,
while I would love to like I don't know, this like wasn't a good look, but like also like I would probably be like, well, look at the facts here. Like
it's presented in a way and it's staged in a way that makes you think a certain way. Yeah.
yeah.
So I wouldn't say that it was like she made like an easy mistake. I feel like a lot of people would probably make that. Everybody would probably, like 80% of people would probably do what she did, right? Because you see someone in distress and you think, well, we need to help this person. You don't think actually everybody in this entire movie literally does what she does. Everybody thinks that she's in distress because that's the way that she makes it seem.
Yeah,
And
it's good little actress. And and then the male cop is like, we need to look at the facts. And he was like, we don't even know if she's a victim yet. And she's just like, this is because I have a vagina. And he was like, this has nothing to do with your vagina and everything to do with the fact that you were in diapers and wearing them when I cleared my first crime scene. He's like, I'm experienced. I've been around for a long time. Like, we need to follow protocol. And she was like, no, we're not going to follow protocol.
Yeah, I know to him too, he's saying too many things where he's just like, this is all off. Like, this is just something.
And also, that was his friend.
Yeah.
Because he called him and he was like, hey, I did something bad. If only he would have been like, look, there's a fucking psycho killer on the loose. She's trying to kill me, kind of thing on the phone. Then, like, he could have been like debriefed her on the way over.
Yeah. But that didn't happen. So she ends up convincing him to move her. They get her into the vehicle and they're driving off with her. And at this point, when they're in the vehicle, I thought like maybe they were going to hear like chatter on the radio, right? Of like female blonde, like look suspect, like
oh yeah,
killed a lady, at the lobby. But they don't because what ends up happening is the Genevieve from earlier, after I guess she took off, she's here and she sees them and she's like trying to get their attention for help. And she's like, help, please. The lady showed up and she killed us. And she's obviously in shock because her husband's dead and what she's gone through. So she can't really make her statement like clearly.
yeah.
And it just gives enough time for fucking electric lady to just blow her brains out right in front of them.
Yeah, shoots her right in the head. And then she holds the two of them at gunpoint and orders the lady cop out of the car. And she says, I am the electric lady. And so then we can like gather that, they've probably been hunting for someone like this for a while. And she gets out of the car and then she orders the cop to run up the hill into the woods. She's like, run, honey, into the woods, because she kept calling her honey too. And so because she was calling her honey beforehand, and so she was like kind of pulling it back on her. And then we get epilogue, the electric lady.
Yeah. And we have basically her and Pete, the park ranger, I guess what they are.
Sheriff.
Are they sheriffs? Okay.
Yeah, it said sheriff on the car.
The sheriff, and she's talking to him. He's basically like, so are you really the electric lady? And why did you kill those people? And she says, basically, to sum it up, that she doesn't see humans, she sees devils. And so take that for what you will. I don't know what she means, like she's trying to be a crusader, Constantine. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
And in his reflection in the rear view mirror, it looks slightly distorted too. And or at least to me it did. I was like, that doesn't look like what his face looks like. And then we pan to the top of the car and we just hear the gunshot go off. Kind of reminded me of The Mist, or yeah, like the scene whenever at the ending when
he
they
shoots everybody.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. Because then I was like, who's it gonna be? And then we see these little red combat boots pop out, and I was like, fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew it was gonna be.
I was just hoping somehow he pulled a gun on her.
Yeah,
Like had one strapped to his ankle too, and like while she was like busy ordering the other girl out, like grabbed it, and then like, man,
not the case. Because he's dead.
he is dead.
Brain blown out, and she just gets out like nothing, you know. And then she ends up on the road, the dirt road, and I guess a bit further up, and she sees this truck coming further towards her, coming in, and she just kind of lays on the road, and she's just like, "Oh,
can you help me, please?" The same thing she said to everyone, like seeming like she's in distress again.
And the woman stops on the road, helps her out, you know, really does seem genuinely concerned for her. And she pulls her into the truck. And I thought she was going to shoot her at like way before any of these points because I thought that just would make more sense. But she waits for her to get into the truck and then pulls out a gun on her. And before she can even shoot her, the lady who was helping her out has her gun out and like quick draw and like fires her first.
Yeah, because she looks in the mirror, and in the mirror she sees a devil herself.
Oh, that's right.
Which I was like, ooh, and so I was like, that's nice. And yeah, I think she was intending to just like hold the woman at gunpoint, but then the other girl was like, nah, fuck that, and then like fucking shoots her. And then she calls the police immediately and she's like, yeah, I just shot someone. And then she kept like kind of reaching towards the area that she shot. And remember, she took 3 guns she had 2 guns that she took from the officer, making 3 guns total. And so she kept like reaching for that spot. And I was like, oh my God, but does she have another gun? Like she's going to kill this poor woman.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. And the song that we have playing is like, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. And she's like sitting there sputtering and like for life and air. And then we go back to the black and white as she dies, or at least slips into unconsciousness. We don't really know. I'm assuming she dies, but
it felt like that.
Yeah.
And that's like the black and white and like kind of felt like it being kind of
end of an era.
Yeah, very much.
She was in her killer era.
She was, and then now she's in her afterlife era.
Yeah, because she did.
She did, yes. And that is the end of Electric Boogaloo #2.
Strange Darling 2023.
Strange Darling.
The Tale of the Electric Lady.
And were you able to scratch up any facts on this one today?
Yeah, I do have some. Would you like them first?
Yeah, I like your own pause.
Primarily known for his acting roles, this film marks Giovanni Ribisi's debut as a feature film cinematographer. And damn, was it a good one.
It's really good. Everything was really great.
Phenomenal job. All the shots were so good. Like, just fucking beautiful. It was revealed during a Q&A that the exception of Love Hurts, all songs were written by Z Berg. Additionally, all of the songs were sung by Z Berg, except for one sung by Jenny Molnar, the director's mother.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Keeping it in the family. He said mom's going to get a check too.
Towards the end of the film, a character references real-life convicted murderer Gary Gilmore. Cinematographer Giovanni portrayed Gilmore's brother McCall Gilmore in the film Shot in the Heart from 2001. And that one's kind of a dumb one. Okay, here's kind of like what you were saying. But this is more about JT Molnar. Miramax attempted to take the film away from JT Molnar twice during production and eventually hired a new editor to recut the film without his knowledge. This cut of the film was under 70 minutes long and edited in chronological order. Eventually, Molnar utilized a clause in his contract that stipulated that there must be a test screening of his director's cut. According to cinematographer Giovanni, the filmmakers were resigned to the fact that their preferred version of the film was dead until midway through this test screening, an audience member shouted, "This bitch is crazy!" And the enthusiastic response to the rest of the crowd led Miramax to change course.
Good thing they did.
Yeah.
It got really good reviews.
Yeah, it has like a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb. Let me see. And 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It won a Saturn Award for Best Thriller Film.
Yeah. It's fucking good.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to get into our boo ratings? The only ratings that matter.
I'm going to get it a 5.
Yeah, me too.
5. Easy 5.
Easy 5. Fucking beautiful film.
I can't think of anything negative to say about it, honestly. I think that it was written well. The plot was good. It felt different. It felt new. It was shot beautifully. The music was good. The actors were great. The way it made me feel like this is a movie I would be excited to rewatch again just to make someone else watch. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you have to watch this. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of texting, I told Andrew that it was really good. And
we're rewatching it tonight.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, you need to watch this. And then Andrew's friend, Phil, who's listened to a few episodes of our podcast, I was going to text him and tell him to watch it because I was like, I feel like he would really appreciate this film too.
Yeah, it was just super interesting to have the story told out of order the way that it was. And then for us to see kind of the different perspectives through the mountain people, through her. I would have maybe the only thing I would have wanted, but I don't know how it would have affected the storyline because it kind of left us more ambiguous at the beginning of who is the killer. But maybe even from his perspective at a certain point, the demon, maybe at one chapter from his perspective would have been cool. Maybe to see just I don't know, just something even more. I just kind of wanted more. That's all, just because it was that good.
I was not quite ready for it to end. I was like, but really obviously it
an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it was obviously coming to an ending. So I was like, oh, but I was like, damn, that was really good.
It really is, and kind of most things that are good, I'm always man, they really could have done a limited series. And imagine an episode of each of these chapters. That would have been cool. To get a full hour long of each chapter and really get kind of more detail and more, I really want to learn more about the mountain people. I could have had a whole 30-minute arc of just being with them, their backstory. How we get here.
I do think that the brevity kind of allowed and enhanced the story though. It left just enough to the imagination, and it was beautifully done. Honestly, while I would want more and would be interested in seeing more about the mountain people and stuff, I just think that I have no notes. I just think that it was well done the way that it is.
Mic drop. But it was good. It was 5 boos for me.
5 boos from me too. Because the acting, everything was just top tier. Cinematography, Giovanni, this being his debut is like insane.
Yeah.
What has he been doing this whole time? Acting. He needs to be cinematographying every single film that ever exists.
Hopefully he gets to do a lot more work after this. People see like what he can do. Because it was really pretty.
Yeah, it was.
It was a beautiful film. Yeah. I don't know what else can we say about it. That's pretty much it, right? It's 5 booths.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like it was such a just well done film that like I literally have like nothing to say, like other than it was just fucking phenomenal. And like, I feel like anything I say is just going to be like
how good it is.
Yeah, and it's just on the like, again, no notes. Like if I wanted to, I mean, not that I could direct a horror film on this level, but like if you
would want it to be this good.
Yeah, I would want it to be this good.
Yeah.
So it left me speechless.
So speechless. I'm so speechless. That's not even
like
melody.
Lonely.
Yeah.
Lonely. I am so lonely.
You sound just like it.
Thank you.
Do the rest of it.
I am nobody for my own. that part's so high.
That's good. Well, you guys, y'all got serenaded, and we got 5 booths for Strange Darling.
5 booths for Strange Darling 2023. JT Molnar and Giovanni Ribisi.
Ribisi. He's probably not even Italian, but yeah.
Nah, that feels pretty Italian.
Giovanni, right? Yeah.
Giovanni.
But once again, we're being recorded by the lovely Rogue Media Network Studios. And
That's
you can
right.
listen to our podcast and a lot of other podcasts on their website at roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right. And if you want to listen to us and any of those other podcasts, you can do so on a slew of podcasting platforms. But the biggest 2 would be
Spotify
and also Apple. But wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, and subscribe.
That's right, because that is the only way we can get ahead in this world. And then if you want to let us know your thoughts on Strange Darling, or if you want to come forward as a mystery person who told us to watch Strange Darling, please do let us know, because it's going to drive me nuts, because I know, or I'm just having some deja vu about it. But
maybe it was like just a oral conversation.
Yeah, it could have been, because I did look back through my text with Jeff, my Instagram DMs on both Boobays and my personal, and I was like, I can't find anything. And then I looked back through Emma's a little bit as well, and I also couldn't find it. I also texted my friend Milan and was like, are you the one who told me to watch Strange Darling? I did a lot of recon. And I couldn't figure it out. So if you want to come forward and tell me who it was that told me to watch Strange Darling, please let us know. And our one social media platform, which is Instagram, and that is at
BOOBAES podcast, because we're your buffet, not your buffets, not your buffets.
And we did get a request from Kesley, our number 1 fan, to recover Black Phone. Which, have we ever covered Black Phone, or did we just watch it? I know I saw it in theaters, but I can't remember if we ever covered it.
We haven't covered it because I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we could do Black Phone next.
We could do Black Phone next. They're making a Black Phone 2, I believe. So we'll do Black Phone.
Yes, they are. Cool.
Okay.
Well, then Black Phone next.
And until then.
Until next time, you guys.
Bye, bays.
Bye, bays.
Boobays.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.